that the guy who said, I'm not going to love anybody, I'm going to keep myself away. I always do those 3-month relationships. We know those. And the girl's like, that's okay, because I'm trying to get over somebody, you know? And it works for us. We all know that it won't love. But I'd like to ask you guys, what's it been, let's talk about script. What has it been like to work with Passion Plays on developing the script for a feature? I'll start with you guys.
Yeah, it's been a dream come true. The greatest thing about Passion Plays is they ask our opinion on pretty much everything, and they involve us a lot more than I ever thought possible. So they really take the authors in the heart when they're creating it. And we're along the ride every step, and when they change the script, they take our notes and then they send it back for more agreements, and it's just a magical thing.
How about you, Vanessa?
Well, we kind of know that you have a lot of books to choose from, so we're always incredibly grateful that you've chosen ours. But the process has been brilliant. The script comes in and you're like, oh my goodness, there's a script, and then you just read it and you give them hardly any notes, really, because it's very much like the book. So you know that the fans are going to be very happy with the film when it comes out, and that's what's really important for Passion Plays, is that the readers get that experience. So it's just a joy. It's just a joy. Really.
Thank you. And just to add to that, I have to thank you guys for actually letting us make these books. So it starts with you. So thank you. And for you, Georgia. Yes. You wrote three scripts.
We had 30, yes. And it's just been a wonderful experience. I am shocked by how closely the script follows the book. And if you've read the books, you are going to be pleasantly surprised. Because as I write, and I'm sure you guys too, but as I write, I see my chapters happening like scenes in a book. And so as I'm reading this script, it's just all coming back to me. It's like, this is exactly the way that I envisioned it when I was writing it. It's almost like someone got in my head and saw it.
And so I guess, the next stage on that, I think that we can announce it because Ali's over there and I'm over here. I think we can announce that we're actually going into production with the Air He Breathes. Very exciting. So let's talk about moving into production. So we start shooting the Air He Breathes in, I think, 2 weeks. I'm a little discombobulated at the time, but sometime in April, which I believe is next month. How has it been for you going into production? How's the experience, let's talk about casting. How's it going?
Goodness, yeah. The casting journey has been a dream come true. And whenever you guys email me and they're like, these are the people we're considering, who do you like? I'm like, all of them. Like, you guys are really good at the job. And the leading hero and leading lady are just, I saw them and I'm like, this is it. This is the magic. And now I can't even picture someone else in these roles. But they include the authors so much. And it blows my mind how things move so quickly. Like once they get started, they're like, okay, here we go, go, go. And I don't know if you guys sleep or anything, but it's just magic and it's a whole new world to me. So whenever they're like, who do you think this person? I'm like, yeah. It's wonderful. Yeah, so it's just a journey of a lot of happy surprises. Every time I get an email, I'm like, here we go. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. The cast is pretty fantastic. And you might find out about it sometime soon. But I can't tell you anything about this because Ali's not there. Oh, you're going to find out in Scotland. And Vanessa, we actually got connected, not actually directly through you know, we reach out to authors all the time, but this time you actually came to us with a director attached. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and who that director is?
When we bought the book to PassionCon, we said, would it be okay if Barbara Bialowers and the director of cinematography kind of had already become attached to the book, but when we presented it to PassionCon, we said, would this still be okay? We would love for this to move forward with this, but it's up to Tosca. And you very graciously said yes, we would love that. So I can tell you a little bit about Barbara.
Yes. Barbara directed 365 DNI. So something really super sexy, a little bit, you know, outside the work side of things. Yeah. Okay, we're not watching this one. Yeah. So this will definitely get 5 on the bottom. But is there anything else? Because you have spent quite a bit of time talking with Barbara, right?
Yes. I mean, even before COVID, we connected, and my book came out in Poland. I was very lucky to have the book come out in Poland and Hungary, and so she got to read the book in Polish. And she just loved it. And she said, I would love to be your director. And I was like, that would be amazing. And then we came to PassionCon, and it was a fit. It was such a perfect fit. I can't get over it. Like, you understand romance, and you have a wonderful origins, way of yeah, it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, I'm very excited to work with both you and Barbara, so thank you so much. And Georgia, so you wrote something that requires me to go to Australia, you know that?
I had no idea what I was writing it, but man, what a happenstance.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but we're going to do it.
I'm not sorry.
And in fact, Abby has got the register for that. And in fact, we're going to do it this December. So we have a producer on board. You know, making things in Australia is kind of like island time here. It takes a long time. So we have our producer set up. I just met a director who I really like and who loves her work, and I'm very excited to introduce you to her. And then we're going to start casting, and that is going to be super fun. And then we have to go to Australia, and then all the Australian PassionCon Australia, they'll be there. That's going to be super fun. So, do I have any questions from the audience? This morning? No, did I answer everything already? Right now, nobody has any questions, but if you do, line up at that night. Yeah. Are we going to get the last movie for the kids? Yes. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've had a few disruptions in the industry. We had that 2 years of COVID thing. And then we had an entire union strike which lasted half a year. We have a lot of sequels that we need to catch up on. And we're trying very hard. But there is only so much that I can do in a day. But if we were not going to do it, I would have not invited an entire wicked cast. It would have been, no, please don't show up. I don't want people to remember. But I love Jennifer Armentrout. I think that it's just so fantastic that she has given us the opportunity to make one of her books, and of course, I mean, who doesn't love that? But so the fact that we get to make the sequels is fantastic. It just does take some time, so just be patient. We're trying to do everything. We all receive things smart. Yes. Yes. Oh, sorry, we have a microphone over here and she lined up.
I can think of a really great Australian actress to star in this upcoming movie.
Melanie Tenney? If she was we have Olivia singing, we have, I mean, all of them are brilliant actors, and so and then I need that dancing, we got a lot to do. Those girls I'm gonna have to bring in some stuff.
Will the actress also be the singer, or are we going to?
I certainly hope she can sing.
I have lots of questions, but we'll talk about that.
Hi, I was just wondering, is there any news on Gabriel's Promise?
On Gabriel's Promise? Not on this panel.
I was just wondering if you were planning to make a sequel?
Well, we're certainly planning on it, again, just like all of the sequels that we haven't had a chance to do over the past couple of years. We are just trying to catch up still from our 2 years of COVID, and then as soon as we've caught up on all the sequels we haven't done, we will focus on the new sequels.
Thank you.
Thank you. But, obviously that story is very close to my heart, and I love Julia and Melanie, so I'll give them that kind of story. Victoria, do you have a question for me?
We'll talk about
All right, here we go.
So, has there been any casting on his novel?
No, we just finished script.
Oh, that's good enough.
Thank you.
But if anyone wants to volunteer to be Mia,
Say that again.
if anybody wanted to volunteer to be Mia, the lead female character, I'm up front first.
Hi, I guess the question is, obviously you already have your fandoms, and then it gets announced that your book is optioned by PassionFlix, but like how, you must be getting questions all the time. How's it been like keeping things quiet, and I'm sure occasionally you might want to hint at something, or have you hinted at something and people haven't noticed? How's it been?
It's been easy for me because I just found out some stuff. So, so when people are like, oh my God, how are you casting? I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. So it's been really, really easy. So when you told me we'll be talking about it, I'm like, okay, cool. We did it all. But yeah, it's just really exciting, and I don't like spoilers, so why would I spoil it? Yeah. I'm as excited as you. So each step, whenever we're allowed to announce, it's like, okay, let's tell you everything. But yeah, I'm just learning as you guys are, so it's really, really, we're on the same page.
I just say I'll wait for PassionFlix to announce it, and then once they said something, I feel comfortable to share it. But you're right, there's a lot of excitement, and
I've not had any information, so. you heard what I heard.
Well, it's actually, it's interesting. I'm like, oh, right, nobody lives in my head. We sit there in the office while we're making readings and putting everything together, and we're like, oh, God, we have to get the next one going, and we're getting it going, and I'm like, we should probably tell people that we're doing this, But it is, and then I have Addie, who's like, this is how we're going to tell the information. And I'm like, okay, I'll just keep working, and then Allie will tell me how we're going to tell our information. And so you guys can just reach out to her, because she's my boss at this point.
It's quite impressive because, I mean, I don't know how people do it, but there are some fashionistas who they find someone following someone that follows someone, and then they're like, that's the person, and they're like, well done.
We were actually talking about it with Jan, I think, yesterday. If you're in here, I don't know if you're here. But how I was looking up some potential actors for the Black Dagger Brotherhood, and I was just looking at them on Instagram, and I'm like, I can't follow any of these people. I can't follow them. You guys are like after their announcements, like they filmed for 3 days, then I can follow them. I feel like, just don't tell anybody anything. But there is something, a lot of that stuff has to do with, and what I'll throw Abby under the bus a lot, but it's more that, PassionFlix is trying to grow, and the way that the industry grows, with the film industry grows here, is actually, weirdly enough, keeping so many things to yourself. so that you can then present it to the press so that the press can make the announcement. And if we don't give the press that opportunity to make that announcement, they'll just forget about us and they won't talk about us. So we have to hold back on so much information. So that's why even if you guys find out who somebody is and then you announce it, we've lost all credibility with the press. They will never announce it, they won't tell anybody. And so it feels like it's helpful, but it's not. It actually PassionCon announces it, and then I'll spread the word, and it's fantastic. But otherwise, so that's why Allie's like, there's a plan. There's a plan for how we announce things, when we announce things. I ruined the one for Georgia Case, maybe I'm sorry about that. But it's in here. Shh. But so it is really important that we keep things a little bit closer to the vest as we grow. It's not how I started out with PassionCon. PassionCon, when we first started, I remember I was just like, telling everybody everything all the time. And then Allie's like, we have to allow the press to break the news. Otherwise, we lose that opportunity. So that's that. We're, the media. Go ahead.
Hi. So I actually watched you great. I was just wondering how you guys got into running game offers, and would you have ever imagined that we would get to this point where what decision making
Most of you know, I started out, I was a labor and delivery nurse, and I was just an avid reader. I enjoyed creative writing as a student, but just really got into reading a little more as I became an older adult, and just my passion just grew for it, and I thought, I'm gonna just give this a shot, and it's just for me. I'm gonna do it just for me. And I did, and my first book was actually a vampire book, and many of you probably don't even know that about me, but that's where I started, and the only person I allowed to read it was my mother, and she told me that it was terrible. And it probably was. But I just kept doing it for me and doing it for the enjoyment of writing, and I eventually became brave enough to just put it out there. I said, if it doesn't make any money, that's fine. I don't care. I'm doing this for me. And I put the first one out, and it didn't do a thing. And then I stepped away from it for quite some time. And as a writer, you probably know this, but it nagged at me so badly. I just couldn't put it to the side anymore. And so I said, I'm gonna give this another shot. Put another one out. It did okay. It's pretty good. And then the beauty series came to me. And I told my husband, I said, I can't be a nurse anymore. I've got to leave this job. And he said, no, you're going to be a nurse. No, I'm not. I'm leaving my job. And he finally said, just do it. And so I did, put beauty out, and it was New York Times, USA Today, Wall Street Journal bestseller, and just blew my mind. And again, never imagined in a million years that PassionFlix would approach me years later and say, hey, we want to make your books into movies. So it's been a ride.
Much in common in that we're both both nurses, but I'm postpartum, she's LD.
I deliver the babies and then she takes care of the moms afterwards.
And then my first series, a series of vampire books, the same.
It was Twilight and then it went to 50 Shades, right? That's very
So I first wrote a book when I was 9, and then I wrote another one, much to my father's horror. I wrote another book when I was 15. And that kind of got, and then I was kind of encouraged to not write again. So probably was very bad. But then I went into nursing, and then I actually joined the British Army as an officer for 8 years. And then I went on to write another book at about 35. And it was just like that draw, that call, and I gave it to my sister, who's here with me today. Yeah, Elizabeth Lizzie. And I said, surprise, I've written my novel. And it was my first vampire book called Stonemasters. I didn't know anything about titles or covers or anything. It was back in the day when you just kind of had to go at something very And then of course I went on to watch 50 Shades of Grey, I absolutely loved it, and I was like, oh gosh, contemporary romance, this feels really good. And I wrote Enthrall, and that was it, and I never looked back. And that was it, I was like, yep, romance for me, all the way.
I was not a nurse. I worked at a guitar store, but not exactly the same. But I wrote my first book when I was 13. I was a very shy kid. I didn't talk a lot, so words were how I escaped into the world. I wrote a lot of Backstreet Boys fanfic. I started with AJ way back when. And then I went to college. I was a theater major, creative writing. My creative writing teacher told me not to do this. Luckily, I don't listen to teachers all the time. So, and then I started publishing in 2013. My book sold like 10 copies, and I was so happy. I'm like, it's not my mama. But my mom might have bought 10 copies, you never know. And then the Air He Breathes is where it kind of took off from there. Here I am.
I guess the moral of the story is don't give up. Well, thank you so much, everyone. This has been really awesome. Thank you so much for joining me on this panel tonight and for opening up our panels today. Please stick around. We have so many more panelists the rest of the day. And I will see you guys, I think, around 2:30 for J.R. Ward. Very excited. Thank you so much. Thank you.
This afternoon. Y'all have a right idea.